Good Saturday morning.
Works better if I turn on a microphone. Good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. We'll begin Saturday morning. We have a lot of events going on. Beautiful outside. 68 right now. We'll get to only 85. Perfect weather for Memorial Day weekend. So it's going to be great. Just got a note. Want to remind everybody, if you're going to be in Meridian, Mississippi this morning, make sure to drop by the Hamasa Temple Shrine. Go by there and see the guys. They've got a car show going on this morning. It's going to go from 8 until 2. And they also have got vendors inside and outside. Again, the Hamasa Temple. You can't miss it right there in Meridian. You go through the four-way stop if you're going north. It's going to be on the right-hand side of the road. A beautiful building if you haven't been by there. And I'm sure that they're bound to have some cheese and other great things that the Shriners are doing. The Shriners do so much for our community. I hope you'll have time to support them. I would love to go. I've got several obligations that I've got to do today. But if you get a chance, swing by and see the guys. They're going to help a lot of folks with that. Again, 8 till 2. Now, later on this morning, as we pull up, the City of Meridian is going to also be busy as we go here to the Touch a Truck program. This is going to go on at Highland Park beginning at 10 o'clock and go until noon, where you can bring the kids out and they can actually touch a fire truck, a police car, an ambulance, and all of that. That happens today. Gets them familiar with what goes on. Looks like they'll have a bucket truck, also a backhoe. A lot of different things there for the kids to get familiar with. So I hope you'll check that out this morning. That begins at 10, Highland Park. This morning there. Let's see, we got some other things that are going to be coming up next weekend, and we had Jerry Mason on yesterday talking about the benefit that is going to be going on in Quitman next weekend for Tiffany Whidden softball teams. They're looking for that. If you've got a softball team, they'd love to hear from you. I've got several numbers that you can call. You can also go on sammedia.network. Find that story there with all the contact information. Our inboxes, we'll be glad to tell you about that. Also, Midway Baptist Church getting geared up for this, and I remember this as a kid, and boy, it really influences you, and you always remember it. Vacation Bible School is on the way. If you haven't had a chance to sign your child up yet, June 5th through the 8th at Midway Baptist. They'd love to have you there. And again, if your church also having one, notify us. We'd be glad to talk about that for everyone. It's always fun, and again, memorable for kids all their life. If I said that word right, I sometimes get tongue twisted, don't I? Oh, y'all have gotten used to that over 30 years. Also, we want to bring this to attention. This will be here before you know it. There's a lot of folks helping out with this behind the scenes to help. Richard Ferguson and his wife, as we pull this up from Sam Media. Also, Alexa, his wife, was stricken and taken into the hospital. Very close call for her. Medical bills are high. They're doing a concert at the Temple Theater on June 18th. Barbecue plates are being sold. There's a lot going into this. Also, there's going to be some raffles. If you know Richard from Southern Gospel, he does that each and every Sunday night. A great person. I've known him for so many years that I can't count. And needs a little help during this. His expenses are very, very high. Purchase tickets to the concert. 5 acts will be there, and you just want some great barbecue, they've got that also. As we get on into June, on the 25th, this is going to be taking place at Meridian Honda. A lot of folks like this guy, David Shelton. He's also been stricken with, I guess the best way to put it is diagnosed with cancer. Also, a lot of bills that they're being faced with. It's going to be a car show on June 25th at Meridian Honda. I hope you can make it out for that. About a month from now. We're already talking about it. We hope you'll come out, take advantage of it, and go by and see them that afternoon there, in the afternoon. Let's see here. Other things that are going on this morning. A bright, gorgeous day. It is Memorial Day weekend. And remember with this, remember those who gave their lives. This is a time for those that have given all. As we'll celebrate it officially on Monday, but this is the weekend. A lot of folks have that 3-day weekend. Don't forget what it's about. As I've mentioned several times, the Mississippi Highway Patrol will be out in full force this weekend. Now, there are several ways to look at this. At the end of the day, they're there to protect you, to make sure that you're safe, to keep people off the streets that, well, don't need to be there, that are impaired, driving a little recklessly, had a little bit too much to drink. If you've got outstanding warrants, you ought to stay at home because you will go to jail. They're going to be checking all this at checkpoints, and if you're speeding, You'll get pulled over, and most police departments are going to be this, because why? Safety is the concern this weekend. We really, really, really want everybody to walk away this and be able to say this on Tuesday morning, that no one lost their life. Let's keep that in mind. Now, I want to bring, and we talk about our cops, our highway patrol, of what they face every day. This is a very serious matter of what they do. You never know what a cop, you've heard me say this before, is going to face when they walk up to a window. And that's exactly what happened yesterday in Meridian with a Mississippi highway patrolman. I'm not sure that if you've had a chance to watch this video, I'm going to play it today, and then we're going to recap this on Monday morning because I feel that it's so safe. The person that sent me this video came upon this as it was going on. As they pulled up to a red light, they were a few feet away from the officer, and they look out their window and they see that he's tussling with someone that has a loaded gun. That's serious, is it not? The person in the passenger seat grabs their phone and they start videoing it, and it picks up right at the end after the Mississippi Highway Patrol officer had gone round and round with this person over the gun. They break away and they jump in the car, and the car chase pursued. Let me show you this. Let's pull this up. This is on our Facebook page here. This is going to be, here's the, if you can see here in the screen, and we're going to put this full screen where you can see this. Right here is the police officer, Mississippi Highway Patrolman. Right here is the guy that's driving the car that tussles with him. Let's hit play on this. As you can see, this gentleman that drove off had a gun. He will throw that gun and what appears to be on down the road, possibly some drugs. And again, these guys don't know what they face each time that they enter these. This could have turned out so differently. This police officer could have lost his life. We are so thankful that he didn't. To my knowledge, this suspect is still at bay. They called off the chase. The highway patrolman did on 23rd when speeds got to where they were unsafe for others. As he weaved in and out of traffic, it became not worth this to endanger somebody else's life, and he backed off. The person got away. They're still looking for this. It was a Gold Sonata, a 2020 model. I'm pretty sure they know who he is. I haven't officially been given a release of the name. I think I know who it is, but we'll wait for the official release on this to put up. We're glad he's okay, but this could have ended differently. We all know that. Look out for our officers. They're here to protect us. We keep them in their thoughts as they face this weekend. Last night, also the same thing. Let's pull this up. Let's go to Sam Media. Right here, the Meridian Police Department was involved in just the same thing. Let's make this bigger where you can see this. That's a Nissan Altima. In the early hours of the morning, a traffic stop was initiated over by Virginia Drive. Well, what do you think happened? Well, the gas was mashed, and a chase began, and it would wind throughout the city streets of Meridian. High speeds of rate this person went. As we followed this, it went from Virginia Drive over toward Bonita Lakes Drive, North Frontage Road, over to 29th Avenue, and then they would go toward 5th Street. They would come up on 46th Avenue and 2nd Street and jump from the car. There was 2 suspects in the car. They would catch one real quickly. He wasn't as fast as the driver was. The driver would run and run and run and go up to 3rd Avenue in the darkness of the night. Police officers combed the area, and they got their man. He was cuffed and taken downtown. As I jokingly put, he got a free night stay at the hotel there at the jailhouse. No laughing matter. It could have been a lot worse. Thankfully, no one was injured, no one was hurt, and they were arrested. It's almost as if people just have no respect for the law anymore. I haven't gotten the details of if they were running for a reason. We're waiting for that information from the Meridian Police Department this morning. But they did, as Michelle Joyner said, great job. And you've got to put yourself in the place of a police officer, especially with all the crime that is going on. They're outnumbered. Y'all know that. They're everywhere. There's more criminals than there are police officers at this point. There's not a lot of people going, hey, I want to be a police officer. Let me join up with y'all. Be talked about, ran down, be underpaid. And the list goes on of what a police officer goes through. But they got their man last night. I respect them. They do a wonderful job in our city. Just not enough of them, is it? We support them every chance we can. The unsung heroes of our community. Now, also, as I was sitting here, and I don't know how this happened yesterday, but I made a post about an incident that happened. It went quickly and was spreading, and all of a sudden it disappeared. I never had that happen before on anything that I've ever posted, but it did. It went away. And the inboxes that I was getting is, what is going on downtown Meridian? I keep seeing cops speed away. They're headed toward Meridian High School. And it was an incident that broke out after graduation. And we hate that these things happen of those kids that were graduating. This takes away from their moment. 12 years of going to school, sometimes 13, 14, depending upon where they started with the early hours of their education, of preschool and all. But it was a day for them, and someone had to mess this up and take away from what they've worked so hard to do. As we look at this, and we'll play you a clip here of what went on yesterday morning. I'm sure by now you've seen this. A big thank you to those that loaned this to us as we look at this, that were there on the scene. And again, this goes on. It is not the kids' fault that we're at the school with this. Somebody stirred up trouble, tried to start a fight. Were there rumors of a gun? There were. As I posted on there, unconfirmed reports. I've had several witnesses say that they did see guns. No shots were fired, thank heavens. Everybody was safe in the end and was dispersed. But that shouldn't happen at our school, should it? It should not. Again, I say congratulations to the class of 22 at Meridian High School. Job well done. We hate this happened during your ceremony. A big thank you to the cops that showed up and put an end to this. It's never happened, as the school even made a statement on this on the Meridian High School page, that those at fault will be brought to justice. Charges will be made. They will work on this to get those taken care of. That did happen yesterday. Again, no one seriously hurt. That is the good news out of that. We got a message. I had gone up to film a TV commercial, and while I was filming the commercial, I got an inbox of, "Hey, what's going on over at the reservoir? Seen a lot of cops." I just saw emergency management go that way. Yeah, they went. What did they do? Here's the scene of that, and I don't have an actual picture from the scene, but a boat caught fire at Oak Tibby. It did. It would burn. The fishermen were able to put the fire out. It was there, and they hauled the boat back to the Pine Springs landing. Thank goodness no one was hurt, but that did happen yesterday. If you were wondering where the cops were headed to out in that direction, that's what that was about. Everybody came in safely. Anytime that we can say no one was hurt, it's A-okay. Material things can be replaced, can't they? Doesn't help your feelings any that your boat burn up, but hey, we live to see another tomorrow and start back over. That's the good thing there. Shots were reported last night. I don't know if you heard about this. Mosby Road. Where is Mosby Road, if you're thinking? And a lot of times, and I put myself across the other side of the screen, where either you're watching me on your big screen in your home or you're watching me from an iPad or your phone here. Where's Mosby Road? Let's look at this. In that same area there of Highway 19 is where Mosby Road is. Right here as you go down off of be the next red light past Tractor Supply. If you were to take a left, go back in here, Mosby Road and Westgate Hills Drive, right in that area. Reports of about 9 shots were fired. Now, no one was hurt at all, thank goodness, but someone did hear that. So it did happen. Again, I urge you, if you're out and about and you hear these things, report it to police. We need records of this so we can track this stuff. This area of town had this happen. Call them. They'd love to hear from you. Dispatch is real nice. They are. Call them. They'll take care of things. Also, let me see. I had one more report of some gunfire overnight near Paulding. This would be Paulding if you were to go down 19 back toward I-20, right off of that area there. No one was hurt and nothing was damaged to my knowledge, but there was some reports of gunfire in those areas. It's not always in the darkness of night. That was as well, though. We'll watch today closely as it comes. We did have an accident yesterday afternoon in our area, Chandler Road, as we pull this up. Possibly some injuries there before you get to the country store there. You'd go past 19 on Walmart and take a right. and go toward the country store there, toward Pine Springs, tap there in the curve right before you get here. Our emergency responders responded to that. MPD has been busy. Boy, have they. Traffic stops everywhere. Let's go back to sammedia.network and take a look at what the Meridian Police Department has done. An arrest, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of a stolen firearm. And there's your mugshot for the morning. That's different. As we go into the details, here's our second suspect that was in this car, Jahal Thomas. He was also involved in this. As we go to the story, the Meridian Police Department yesterday afternoon made a traffic stop on a passenger vehicle around 8th Street and 44th Avenue. They had a little bit too dark of tint, is why they were pulled over. During the course of the stop, the canine officer ran his dog around the car, and what happened? Well, he barked, which means there's something here. As they searched the vehicle, they found 2.5 pounds of marijuana, 2 firearms. One of them was a stolen firearm. LaJuan Vaughn was charged with possession of a controlled substance, marijuana, possession of a stolen firearm. His bond was set at $25,000, totaling $50,000 for each charge there. The passenger is charged with possession of a controlled substance, bond set at $25,000. Let's take a look at that. That's what it looks like. Now, I've never been around drugs in my life. I've seen enough pictures now that I might could recognize it, but that's what the scene was. 2 pistols, some marijuana or Mary Jane, a little bit of cash there. And the dog's just checking it out. That's what happened there. But the day wasn't over. MPD was still busy. Wait a minute. They did another traffic stop. Let's pull this up. I'm telling you, they've been busy the last couple of days here. That's your mugshot here, your second mugshot. Sherman Ruffin. I want to say I may be pronouncing his name incorrectly. I'm sorry if I am. Shermaine? I'm close. As we look at this, the Meridian police officers had a traffic stop on a passenger vehicle. It was at 5th Street and 52nd Avenue. Again, tint law is what got this one also. So you bad guys, pay attention. If you got dark windows, you might get pulled over. During the course of that one, they also noticed the smell of marijuana. Shame, shame. It's very strong, I hear. The driver was later identified as Mr. Ruffin. He told the officer that he had 1/2 pound of marijuana in the vehicle. A search conducted, 1 pound. Whoop. He's been arrested for controlled substance, and here's a look at what he had. $25,000 bond. Had him a ball jar there with it also, a zip bag. That's what went on yesterday. They were busy, weren't they? They do. As Michelle Jordan says, they do stay busy. They're going everywhere. But again, I tell you, they're overworked. We wish them well. Known a lot of them for many, many years. As we start looking around the state, what has gone on? A pedestrian. We made a stop on I-10. The police pulled someone over, and they were questioning him. Turns out there was a little marijuana in there, and the passenger took off running. They seemed to think that he may have been an illegal alien, and in his attempt to flee police, ran in front of oncoming traffic. It did not end well for him. He passed away at the scene. He was hit, killed at the scene. Lowndes County, and as this is one of those things that we hadn't had much of this in our area. There's a lot of things that happen I don't know about. In Lowndes County, they had 2 burglars that broke into a pharmacy. We all know what they wanted. They're on the search for those 2 burglars that did that in Lowndes County. It's a little north of here, up toward Columbus in that area there. This is not going to be good for this guy, and I don't remember all the details. I'd have to go back and look at this, but a former cop has been, Mississippi cop has been, a judge has sentenced that he will owe a family $2.2 million. They've ruled that the shooting that he was involved in was not necessary. He will have to pay the family $2.2 million. Now, we all know that the officer doesn't have that much money. He was an Oxford police officer, and the trick will be is if the lawyers can prove that he was on duty. He was in a patrol car when he did this, when the shooting happened, and they're going to try to get the money out of the city. We'll dig deeper into this. Matthew Ken was his name, but he was ordered to pay $1.2 million on one damage and another $1 million in another for punitive damages. He didn't have that kind of money. watch this closely and dig deeper into it. Gulfport, as you go to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, a high school student has been arrested after sending threatening text. You don't do that. Urge your children, urge your grandchildren, whoever it is, don't do that. Don't threaten somebody. Things are a lot different nowadays as cyber takes place. That's a serious crime now. The Southern Baptists, and I have not seen the list. You heard me talk about this last week at the Southern Baptists of pastors that were involved in sex scandals. The Southern Baptist Church. They have now released the list, about 10 being from Mississippi, I believe, is what the list says. That's out there. I have not looked at it, but look for that. I'm sure you can Google and come across that if you'd like to read that. Not so sure I'm for this. California is where we go next for a headline this morning. If y'all remember the Charles Manson thing that went on, I'm sure y'all do. The lady that took part of this in the murder of Sharon Tate and those other people is up for parole. She's even being recommended for it. It's happened in 1969. That was 53 years ago. She's an old woman now. Doesn't change the fact what she done. She helped write that helter-skelter on the wall, and she helped murder that young lady. Do y'all think she should be set free? I've never understood why the death penalty was not put into effect on that. Maybe it's that California doesn't have it. I'm not sure about California, their law. Maybe they don't have capital punishment. She's 74 now. They're saying that she will likely be recommended for it. Doesn't mean that she'll get out, but she's going to be recommended to get out. Patricia Krenwinkel, if I pronounced her name right. It's a debatable situation. As Michelle said, all of her victims are still dead. Deny parole. I think I agree with you. We think a lot of alike. There's some folks that are on this side or that side of that fence. The victims of these people didn't have a choice. They were not given a chance, were they? That's where I have difficulty with turning when there's not a shadow of a doubt that they did the crime that they did. I have different beliefs, and I think that it should happen quickly, justice be served. Not everybody agrees with me on that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's America. We can all stand on each side of the fence of that and have our own opinion. That's the great thing about our nation. Good news for Mississippi. This is going to be opening up July the 18th, Canton, Mississippi. Jobs are coming. We get one of our very first, an Amazon center. It's going to be huge and supply a lot of jobs. It's 700,000 square feet that will be there. Maybe it will help us also get packages quicker when you order something. I like the sound of that. I think you do too. But that's going to be there. A lot of people, and it pays well. That's good. Mississippi needs more of this. And I remind you, a lot of things happen with where these companies build their facilities. And it depends upon your schools. If your schools are not getting great scores to where they can show this is why we're going to this area. They've got great schools. You can send your child to school here and they'll get a great education. And they build these manufacturing plants around places like that. The lower the school does, the less likely we are to get industry. I wanted to point that out. Not everybody's aware of that. And I'm sure there's tons of you that are, but not everybody knows all of that, what goes into what companies do before they decide where they're going to build. We'd love for our schools to get higher there. Crime plays a huge role into it. Huge role. That'd be why it's not in downtown Jackson, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. Boy, oh boy. A Stone County man has been convicted of a sex crime. 67 years old. They've proven that he committed against a minor. He's headed off to jail. As we look at, maybe you've seen this. Let's talk about national headlines for a minute. Texas, we all know what's happened there. It's tragedy. 19 children lost their lives. Horrifying. 2 teachers lost their life trying to protect the kids in the classroom. Even a husband would have a heart attack later with the thought of his wife dying. All because of an 18-year-old that has issues of some sort. Took it upon himself to take the lives of the innocent. Horrible. He was taken out. As we dig deeper into this, there's so much goes on to this. We have now seen that, I think I said yesterday it was 90 minutes, but we see now that they define this for 48 minutes. The cops there did not do anything, the local cops. Now, I haven't read into this enough. Were they trained? Did they know what to do? I'm unsure. But when Border Patrol agents arrived, which are trained, they know what they're doing, the cops told them not to go in. They disobeyed that and went in and took the bad guy out. Thank goodness for the disobeying of that and took care of this. Again, I don't know enough about the city cops to judge them. I don't know why they were waiting. We don't either. We had parents that were begging to go in, and they were threatened with mace, and I've seen that in the headlines. We'll learn more about this. But in the midst of this, that solemn moment, we've got the governor, we've got the mayor of that town giving a speech to the families that lost loved ones. You've got Beto O'Rourke, who is running for governor on the Democratic side. And we've got a nation to where you can have two different sides and two different ways of thinking. But he interrupted that meeting. Have you seen this? Have you watched this? At a time when a family was suffering. Now, what would the repercussions of this be? I've seen it on both sides of the fence. Some say that this has ended his career as being a governor because he can't control himself. I think a lot of people say that, I'm saying the voters is when I say they, want someone that can handle themselves in a sticky situation, calm, cool, and collective. Be a leader. You stand tall. You look different from everybody else. What's your opinion of this? Did it hurt him? Or is this going to propel him on the Democratic side? Is there the people that think that he done right? I'm unsure. I don't understand that. In my world, there's black and white. There's right and wrong. And when I say black and white, right and wrong, this is the way you conduct yourself. This is the way you do. And from time to time, I make people mad of a story that's released. They're angry sometimes when a loved one gets arrested and their picture is put out there. And I just, you can't argue with someone who is upset. And I'll never answer those texts on that because there's no winner in that. Someone broke the law, they done wrong, and society needs to know what happens. And I'll continue to bring you the news as it happens. I'm sorry that some people sometimes get upset. That's just part of it. But there's right and wrong. There's no gray area on this. Either you did it or you didn't. Beto O'Rourke. And the voters will choose this in Texas. You may have a different opinion in that than I do. As we look at that next headline there, as I was talking about defying the federal law there. The world's oldest man. Do y'all know how old he is? Wow. He's in Venezuela, 113 years old. That's getting up there. You've seen quite a few things in your life if you live to make it to 113. Division. So many people want division in America. As we go back and we touch briefly on the shooting that took place. The Giants, their manager, Gabe Kapler, says he's going to plan to skip the national anthem in the line of the home of the brave because of guns in America. After the shooting there, he's taking a stance on that. I'm not sure I will follow his thinking. You may, and that's okay if you do, but the national anthem is for those who've protected us. Yeah, I just see it differently than a lot of people across America. You may agree with me. You may disagree. Love to hear from you either way there. Elon Musk, you got to give him credit. And mark my word, I said this the other day. This guy, you will see him one day run for president of the United States. It is coming. It's just as Trump did. It's his whole life built up to run for president. That's what Elon is doing. He's setting this up. Very smart man, the richest man in the world. As he takes over Twitter and he does this and that and jokes that, well, I'll buy Coke and bring back the real Coke and different things. He's going to fix the McDonald's ice cream machines. It's jokingly, but people tend to like him. Right now, Elon is in a spat with AOC. She threatened to sell her Tesla, her car, last week because she didn't agree with him. And he challenged her this week. He said, let's put a poll out and ask people if they trust billionaires or politicians less. Reckon who they don't trust. She hasn't answered that one. But he's funny and people relate to him. But mark my word, you will see this man, if he's smart enough to be the world's richest man, he will run. That's something that you can't buy. Power. You can't buy it. I remember when I was 17 years old, when I first got into business, as I went into the office, my first job. And the gentleman I went to work for, and you may agree with this or not, but he was very smart and he was very rich. And he told me, he said, I don't want people that work for me that tell me they want this chair. He said, I want someone that's going to take this chair from me. Power is taken, we know that, and all the struggles in the world. And it just depends on how bad you want something as to how bad you go after it. We got a lot more coming up. We're going to talk about the weather. It is Saturday morning, a great Memorial Day weekend. I hope you've enjoyed some of the newscasts that we've had this morning. Is mine a little different from everybody else's in town that you can watch? It certainly is. But you get the headlines first. It's facts that go on. Got a little southern twist to it, I'll admit that. We've got more on the way. Stay very close with us. We're going to tell you about that forecast and what you can do.
The Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville is passing along these great savings. Fresh blueberries, $3.39 for a pint. Fresh strawberries, $3.39. An 8-pound bag of Idaho potatoes, $3.99. Fresh leg quarters, a 10-pound bag, $6.99. Twin pack Boston butts, $1.79 a pound. A1 steak sauce, 10-ounce bottle, $3.89. And family pack select T-bone steaks, $7.99 a pound.
We're down home, down the street, Piggly Wiggly.
Spring is here, and it's time to quit spending all of your weekend cutting grass when you could step up to a Skag zero-turn mower. Freeman Tractor in Collinsville has the #1 rated zero-turn mower, Skag, with cutting widths from 36 inches to 72 inches. Skag, the #1 choice of professional landscapers because they know nothing outcuts or outlasts a Skag. 0% financing for 48 months with payments starting as low as $129 a month. Stop by Freeman Tractor on Highway 494 and see coleslaw or buttermilk.
Welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. I was up at the Rock House yesterday afternoon also, and I wondered, as they celebrate 10 years, it's so hard to believe that they bought that 10 years ago, but they got a lot going on right now. You get a free box of ammo with the purchase of a new Glock. That's handy there. We all know how hard ammo is to come by sometimes. No tax on any used firearm that you buy. That's a pretty neat deal that they're passing out there. 50% off on all electronics right now. So what else they've got? 50% off all tools. Check all that out. Boy, they got a lot going on there. Drop in and visit with them as they celebrate 10 years there. Rock House Trading Post. You can't miss them. Gun and Pawn. I said that a little wrong, didn't I? They're on Highway 19. Visit with them. Also yesterday, I don't know if you've ever been to this. I went up the Promised Land Journey. Have you ever been there? It's kind of a walk back in time to through history, through Israel. I got to tour that yesterday. It's just north of Collinsville, about 6 miles. If you've never been there, it's pretty neat there. They don't charge anything for the tour. It's a love offering at the end of it if you'd like to donate to their cause. You can set it up by appointment. I'll post their information before long. Neat, neat, neat. Something right here. A lot of people have traveled all over the United States to come visit that right here. Neat, neat, neat. All right, let's talk a little bit about weather and what's going to be going on today. Let's take a look at Meridian Honda radar as we pull that up this morning. Boy, that's clear, isn't it? All across the state of Mississippi, I don't see a thing. Or Alabama, Georgia, look at that. Even to the Carolinas and back to Texas. Not one single thing going on there. Yeah. Let's just turn that off. That's loud, isn't it? All right, as we back this out and we come across and we take a look at the United States, we got a little bit here off the Charleston coast, up toward Norfolk, some showers there. New York, light rain this morning. Syracuse, a little bit up to Burlington. As we come across that upper part of the United States, well, up here at Minnesota, a few showers this morning. Minneapolis, getting a little bit of rain. Clear in Detroit, though. We come across the Dakotas, not too bad there. Montana has a few showers, and it's warmed up. 59 in Montana. We don't always get that, do we? We got fog happening out here in the northern part of Washington. Seattle got a little bit of rain this morning as we come down that coastline in California. Always gorgeous there, but they warn you, New Mexico, don't be burning anything today. Fire watch warning in effect as we look at that. Getting warm here in Texas. And then back here we go. Now, weather's going to be great. Again, thank you to Meridian Honda radar there as we take a look at that. Let's get into a deeper look at the forecast to find out what Memorial Day weekend lies in store for all of us.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
And it will be sunshiny today. I need to hit one more button here and pull this up so we can take a closer look at what the weather has to do. As we come up, we will have sunshine today. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that as we pull this up. 85 is what we'll have. Gorgeous, isn't it? Columbus, 83 today as we come across to Jackson, 85, and we go south to Brookhaven, 85 there as well. With sunshine all the way to the coast. It's going to be a perfect weekend to go camping, boating. Now, again, there's a lot of folks that have said this of their camping with the fuel the way it is. They're staying kind of close to home. A lot of folks can't get those camper spots. Whew, it's a run on it. A lot of folks at Oak Tibby, Bonita Lakes, and also down in Clark County there. Checking out all of these places there. Enjoy yourself there. As we go back to look at this, Alabama, 84. Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, 84. Also down to Montgomery, 85 degrees. It's perfect weather there. Can't beat that also. As we come across, this is what the 6-day, 10-day forecast looks like. Sunshine. And we've got some above average temperatures here on the coast. But the Meridian area across the central portions of Mississippi, Alabama, looks like it'll be at a normal pace there. All right, let's go ahead and dive in to see what we've got for the forecast and temperature-wise over the next few days. Here we go. As we see 83 today, it's going to be it. It's what we get tomorrow, warming up a little bit higher there as we get to 87 with a low of 65. Tonight, we'll get down to a low right around 60. It was perfect this morning as you woke up at about 58 degrees. Monday rolls in. Memorial Day will be 88 and sunny. Look at that, down to a low of 65. By Tuesday, sunshine, and temperatures will move back into the 90s once we get to Tuesday. As we go toward the weekend, Thursday, 92, 89 there. Let's go another week into this as we get to June 11th. We're going to stay in the 90s. Nothing too horrible, though. It won't be those high 90s, the low 90s. If we got to have 90-degree weather, I'd rather have that, wouldn't you? All the way through the 11th as we get toward the middle of the month there. As we look to this, no new tropical cyclones are expected here on this side of the fence. We do have one, Agatha, right down in here off the coast of Mexico that we're watching. Right there. Here's Agatha. She's now a tropical storm. Will not affect us in any way. It's way away from Mississippi and the Gulf Coast. But out here, y'all take note of that on that side of the country there, Mexico. As we look at our fishing forecast today, here we go. Chet's Paint and Body brings it to us. Perfect weather later on this afternoon to go fishing. Right there at dark would be the best time. Wasn't bad early this morning. Your wind's going to be calm northwest at around 5 miles an hour. Big thank you to Chet and his gang there for letting us know what the fishing will be. Say good morning to Roy. How are you doing today? Levi is up there. I'm not sure Elon was born in the U.S. I don't know much about Elon. I've never studied his past. He's moved right on up the ranks there. Virginia Stokes, how are you today? Appreciate you watching there. Jeff Dean is with us there. As we see Bruce Aiken, a lot of folks up. Robin Miller, glad to see y'all up. Hope your Saturday is treating you well. That's going to conclude weather. Right now we're sitting at 68. Again, 85 is where we're headed. A big thank you to everybody that watched this morning. And as you see the folks on the screen there that support us, we say thank you so much. We'll have breaking news throughout the day. I'll be out of place for a little while today. I've got a funeral that I've got to attend and pay tribute to someone. We'll be back. We'll keep sure that you get all the headlines and things that go on throughout our community. Thank you for being a part of this as we bring it to you each and every day here at the Scotty Ray Report. Y'all have a great weekend.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: